All right, welcome everybody to this week's showing of our new series, super late model here at Lane's Raceway. Hopefully the sound and stuff's coming in pretty good. I know that don't have a big bunch of music playing in the background. Looks like an LED strip went out here on the track and everything. We just freshly sprayed the track last night. We ran this for the first time last week, and it was a bloodbath, so we've changed the rules up a little bit. 2 community cautions. After those 2 community cautions, each individual racers has 3 cautions per heat. If they do more than those 3 cautions, then they're coming off and they're coming out for that heat. So it should spice up things a little bit out there on the racetrack. I know the guys are excited to get ready and go. They've been waiting on me for about the past 5 minutes, so we're going to get this thing underway and just enjoy the racing. It looks like we got a pack of 7 here tonight, and after this race, all the rest of our races will be on the orange track. So stay tuned with us, and here we go. We're fixing to go green racing. All right, guys, y'all ready? Watch your lights. Ready. So there's our first community caution of this evening involving Randy Kirtley and Glenn Burton's car. Yes, they go, it's same rules as last season. All cars must go to the start line on Rex, giving you 1 lost lap, essentially. Ready. So Monty's car there flying to the outside for the second caution. 10 seconds into this heat, looks like we got Carson Ross and Randy Kirtley involved again. All right, racers, now it's 3 and you're out. So maybe slow her down a little bit, keep her on the track versus trying to rush and be number 1, because I'll tell you, it might cost you. The counts are starting now. Good luck. Just like real dirt track racing, 2 restarts and then people come off. So we're going to give them 3 shots here, though. So Glenn Burton was going to try to save one of those strikes there by grabbing his car, but had a little bit of bad luck getting there. So Glenn's going to take his first strike this evening. But that also rings true, fellas. So if the car wrecks in front of you and you can put it back on, save yourself a strike. Or if you want to leave your position, go grab your car and put it back on without hitting the track call button, as long as it ain't in nobody else's way, like down here in Dead Man's Corner or up there, you can put it on. But it's going to be tough. Well, if he would have got that put back on without hitting the track call button, the whole deal is the track call button slows the race time down. So that's where the strikes come in. Whoever hits the track call button essentially is the one that takes the strike. Ready. Right now, Glenn Burton with 1 strike. Looks like everybody's starting to focus in and run a little bit better. Looks like both Jackson and Nathaniel both getting involved in a little bit of an incident there. So strikes are Glenn, Nathaniel, and Jackson, 1 strike. Jay Latham there helping get Jackson's pink late model on blue lane put back on. Nathaniel taking a quick look at his black and orange late model. Ready. Jay Latham's car down on purple, running exceptionally quick, nice and smooth. All the cars have been teched and gauged before the start of the race, and it looks like we got a pretty good little race going on here this week. Maybe all the track needed was just a little bit extra grip. Of course, last night, like I said, we sprayed the track with some medium glue, and that's helping these guys handle a little bit better. If you guys were in the race last week for the Super Late Model, you know how drastic that was. And that's one for Carson. So we got one for Jackson, one for Nathaniel, one for Carson, and one for Glenn this heat. But a whole lot better racing than what we seen last week. A lot of side-to-side banging and beating. It was every lap we were seeing people come out last week. This week, a lot better showing here, and it's just to be right here in front of the track this week instead of inside of the shop. The way these guys are racing is pretty impressive to see. As you can see, Carson taking the outside there, and Nathaniel actually giving him a little bit of room and is actually able to give him a little bit of room. Jay Latham's car coming off there down on the bottom of the high banks. Glenn saying he wasn't going to give up his position there just to grab Jay's car. Jay struggling to hit the red button to kill the track. So now, right now, everybody but Randy and Amani has a strike this heat.
Ready.
Amani opting to not hit the track call button. It's probably a good safe call on him. So we see Randy Kirtley's car go flying to the high side there, a real hard hit. Him, Glenn Burden, and Nathaniel. That's two for Glenn and Nathaniel. Randy Kirtley's going to take his first strike. The only one in the crew right now with no strikes is Amani. He's got the the dirt late model to beat here this weekend for sure. Randy taking a look with a little bit of a disgusted look on his face after that big wreck. He's taking a look there at his blue car. He's trying to fix the nose on it. We'll see if we can get it back there, race ready, get a new fresh set of tires out there. I think he busted that right rear in that last hit. The right front, okay. Glenn Burton with a comment of "Uke tire." Glenn coming back around. Guy's going to wait on him, of course, to get to his controller. We've got Dana Durham here. He's ultimate track marshal here at Lanes Raceway. He loves watching the show. Got a grandson here, Action Jackson, also known as Jack Cena. The Prince of Lanes Raceway, that's what he calls himself now. It's like the body of Jay Latham's kind of kicking off a little bit there. So we see Randy Kirtley there with 2 strikes now. So Randy, Glenn, and Nathaniel with 2 strikes. Everybody else except for Amani's got 1. Amani got 0 strikes. 30 seconds left to go in this heat. Good racing though.
Ready.
Nice little bit of a cluster up there between high side passing to Carson. Carson allowing Nathaniel to go back by. Amani coming off, not hitting the track button, so he's not going to receive a strike there. So he gets put back on quick. Oh, as we get Nathaniel. Nathaniel's going to get pulled with 8 seconds left, and so is Glenn Burden. But they made it all the way almost through the whole heat there. like I said, this is just the first heat. They will definitely not be the only ones that have to set out in this crazy debacle of a race we call the Super Late Model Series here at Lanes Raceway. So pretty much cost them 2.5 laps there, so not too bad there. Jay Latham, after the first heat, there was 60 laps, followed by Jackson with 58. 54 laps of Carson round up your top three. Randy Kirtley narrowly staying on there with 2 wrecks, but he's still in the mix there too, in 4th position. Amani with 0 strikes on yellow lane there, taking 51 laps, so taking a more cautious approach to keep into the race and not cause as many strikes to take place. So that might be the POG, as they call it, the play of game for sure, but we'll have to wait and see. Coming up later, you can see here on the right side of your screen there, the orange track. We're going to be racing all other 3 series here this evening at Lanes Raceway on the orange. We'll be doing hard body later on. Coming up next, though, is going to be the new series GTP Group 12 class at Lanes Raceway. That's coming up next. Then it's going to be the hard body class, which is the GRC 929 gear ratio locked with hard bodies that look like NASCARs. They're going to be on there following that. And then our last race of the evening is going to be the wing car Group 20, our pretty much pro class here at Lanes Raceway. Pretty hard to do for sure. I'm going to leave it over here on the oval and be right back with you here in about 1 minute and 20 seconds. All right, we're back to racing. Jay Latham out in the lead, 64 total laps. We got a hard hit, 2 cars involved in the incident. Father-son team, Nathaniel and Glenn Burden involved in that incident. That's community caution number 1. Remember, folks, we get 2 before we start counting 3. Jackson pointing directly in my face right now. I'm calling Jack Senior for nothing.
Ready.
Jay saying that Glenn and Nathaniel needs to quit fighting down there. We had a car go to the high side, and I mean a hard hit, flying completely off the track. That's Randy Kirtley's car, took a big flight. Randy on red lane right now, 61 total laps turned. He's in 4th position right now. It might have pulled the old high side hero, and it maybe not held there. It might have caught that right rear there on the edge of the wall, sent him flying. So Randy said he came off coming through the dog leg there. Probably the back end slopped out a little bit there and hit, pulling him off. It don't take much, especially in the higher lanes. The high lanes are the ones that like to pull out.
Ready.
Bruce the Streak entering the building, ladies and gentlemen. He's ready to do some racing this weekend. As you can see there with Randy Kirtley's car coming to the high side here down in Dead Man's Corner, we got a strip gear. That is Glenn Burden's.
Yellow flag.
Jay Latham going to hit that. All right, so that's one for Jay. Glenn Burden going to fix his gear real quick. A lot of times with these short wheelbase cars, the issues that we have is the front of the guide flag there coming out. Back end gets a little bit sloppy and ends up getting pulled out from where the tires are gripping so well. And they'll shoot out right through the crook of the track if the guys don't blip just a hair on the higher lanes. So we experienced a lot of that last week, especially with it being dry slick. This week we got her nice and bitey. We got Amani and Carson coming off there. And it looks like Nathaniel. So Jay, Amani, Carson, and Nathaniel with one strike currently. Bruce the Streak Bullington there helping out with a little bit of putting the cars back on their lanes. Yeah, guys, I'll just let you know, Chelsea, when she picks your car up too, she's going to walk it back to the start-finish line. No, she's going to start grabbing your cars and walking them back, so you're better off hitting the button, especially this early on, and taking a strike. Now, if you're down to your third strike, you can let her walk it back. But I'm just telling you, she's going to start walking those cars all the way back to the line.
Ready.
Everybody pretty safe right now with only one strike. Almost halfway through this race right now. Glenn Burden's car losing a little bit of traction coming out of the crook of the track. I actually seen that happen. I was stuttering a little bit and it just ramped coming off the crook. Jay Latham, he's going to get his car put back on. That's two for Jay.
Ready.
Looks like Glenn Burden got one or two, I can't remember.
Yellow flag and left.
You see Carson's car coming off there. That's two for Carson. Yeah, you got to take it anyways. He hit the button. Is it off? He's all right. Yeah, it's getting there. He got another race in it, though. This needs to be cleaned. Who, Carson?
Ready.
No. Carson with a left hook there to Jackson's nose. Hard hit Glenn Burden, taking out Amani there. All right. See you, Dana. Thank you. I believe that's Amani's first strike. That's number 2 there for Glenn.
Ready.
Halfway through the heat. It's all staying alive for Glenn right now. Him and Amani battling back and forth there as he makes a nice clean pass. Amani allowing him to go by. High side hero Randy Kirtley there dragging that right rear. coming around the corner.
Flag.
So we see good reflexes on Randy's part as Carson comes off for his second time. Glenn Burton going to get a push through there by Jay.
Get ready. Go.
Glenn Burton making a pass there on the outside of Amani. Amani running nice clean there on the orange lane, keeping his back end in tow, staying out of trouble. Randy Kirtley, on the other hand, dragging that back in as Nathaniel trying to make a pass on the underside as he goes flying. That's number 2 for Nathaniel. 17 seconds left to go. Jay Latham first place, 113. Jackson second place, 109. Carson 102. Randy Cutler right there behind him with 99, followed by Nathaniel and Amani with 91, and Glenn Burton there with 86.
Ready.
All right, and here we go. Air on these cars, aerodynamics sometimes can be a tricky situation when coming up on a guy that's pushing the main source of new air. I've seen it before. Once you pull the air from somebody, sometimes it causes wrecks to take place, and that might have been what happened with Nathaniel. Right now, 3 seconds left to go as we see Glenn Burton coming out for his third time. 2 seconds left to go in the heat. Jay Latham, your current leader, with 122.
Get ready.
Here we go. 4 red lights dropping out to green. We're going back racing. Our only show here today on the oval track, but she's been prepped nice and sticky, as we can see. Amani taking her wide open there in the high banks. That would have only been his second one, though. He would have still been in the game. Yeah, let's put it right there. It'll be fine. Nathaniel, what do you think happened there in that last wreck between you and Randy Kirtley there on the high side? So you think your back end got in front of Randy and he just gave you a little bit of love touch? Finished you off? I mean, that's racing. Sometimes if you don't pull the full slide job, sometimes you get shunted all the way up into the wall, and it costs you your race career on the dirt track here at Lanes Raceway. Jackson thought that was funny. He's going to be going down on Black Lane coming up next. 61.5 average out there for Jay Latham, Mr. Smooth this week so far. So he's running a 60 on purple tied up with Jackson. 63 there on black. So far the best laps turned. So Jay Latham coming correct, representing as king of Lanes Raceway. These guys don't know it yet, but all the guys that had their crown pictures taken, their pictures are being processed now from a UPS store here locally. And that's supposed to be coming up live here in just a few days probably. And we've got Jay Latham, got a nice little picture. It looks like he's on a racetrack. We've got the whole crew going to be underneath them all and everything. So everybody's got to look at Jay for a solid year wearing the King's crown. We'll see if somebody comes back and tries to fight for that come this next fall. Jackson, you got something you want to say to people?
Congratulations.
Congratulations for what?
For being my fan.
For being your fan?
Yeah.
The Prince of Lanes Raceway, folks. A man, a few words. 1 minute and 4 seconds. We'll be right back with you. All right, here we go, folks. A little bit better view of Dead Man's Corner this time. 1 minute and 56 seconds rolling. Jay Latham, your leader, but Jackson close behind with just 5 laps behind. Carson there in 3rd place, about 10 laps behind him. So we get our first community yellow flag here at Lanes Raceway. And that's involving Randy Kirtley and Glenn Burton. A couple beater and bangers here. It seems like maybe the tried and true Ralph Thorne bodies of old from front running last season in our late model limited series from Ohio Valley. Maybe those bodies not what it takes to be on top here in the super late model series. It looks like the Mid-America body represented by Jay Latham so far is king of the show here today, but we still got a whole lot more racing left to go. So we see the Caveman body's always doing well there with the Monties and Jacksons. Lanes Raceway actually going to be coming up with their own super late model bodies here pretty soon. Lexan, of course, wrap for lightweight and good handling. So we get a body tuck there by Glenn. He's going to bring her in the pits real quick, not sacrifice a community caution. He's going to get her right back out there. We appreciate Glenn doing that. But son Nathaniel will take that second community. So that's the second community. We're 20 seconds from being halfway through the heat. Race is running pretty good this week. We might be able to go back to normal come next week if we race like this. So Nathaniel getting his car passed down. Jay, of course, grabbing that car there, passing it to Carson and Weston or Jackson. Jackson, you have so many names. Weston could be one of them. It could. Peanut Boy, huh? All right, so he's getting his car set up there on red lane as we go back racing. A little bit of a rub there between Randy and Amani, but Amani makes it out safe. A little bit of body jiggle now from that little bit of a touch. Randy Kirtley's back in, kind of slopping just a little bit there, but he's very, very quick. Randy Kirtley trying to rush up from 4th position up to at least 3rd. Down low, we got Jackson on black running pretty impressively, staying out in front of Jay. Jay kind of timidly rolling the yellow, just trying to run these laps and not caution. He gets wiggly coming out of the spur of the track there as he takes out Jackson. And that right there is going to be a strike for each one of them. So one for Jay and one for Jackson. Sometimes when the car gets a little bit stuttery there and gets swapping back and forth, there ain't really nothing you can do. If you hit that crook of that track, it's going to go ahead and pull you on out. Being that the track is a little bit more tacky now, you can maybe let off and let her grip down like a real car. And well, hang on, Glenn, he's out. You pulled it off? Okay, Glenn is in the pits, folks. He's going to try to fix his car. He's got some nose damage or something going on with his body right now. Going back green racing. Like I said, one strike for Jackson, one strike for Jay. So we'll go back green. Now we got one strike for Nathaniel as he hits the button.
Get ready.
42 seconds left in the heat as we see Amani take one to the high side. White's going to put him back on real quick, passing it to Bruce. And Amani's back on, not taking a strike. So we see Carson take his strike. Carson, Jackson, Jay, and Nathaniel, one strike this heat. Everybody else, goose egg. You don't want to play dirty in this, Jackson.
Get ready.
Glenn Burton got his ride back on. His body kind of flipping up there. Coming out of the backside there. A little tight, it looks like now. As he gets stuck there.
Get ready.
So Glenn's going to take another look at it and see what's going on. 8 seconds left to go in this heat. And it looks like we're not going to get anybody to set out on this heat, so that's a good success there as Jay Latham comes out, your current leader, 185. That's 2 for Jay. He's got to make it literally a couple tenths of a second.
Get ready. Red flag.
And that's a red flag rotation. Glenn, what's going on with your car? Sucking it in like on the tires? Does it need the rear wells cut out on it or something? About done. Yeah. So Glenn having some troubles with his body. Jay Latham right now in the lead with 185, 181 for Jackson Carson, 172 to round up your top 3. We'll take a small intermission here and be right back with you. All right, looks like we got a body there for Glenn. Glenn's got him one swapped out. We'll see how well it holds there as we see him starting out on purple down low. We now have 2 community strikes ready to be used up here. Let's see how it goes. Jackson slowly catching Jay. You see a wide open touch on the back end there, sending Glenn Burton to the inside. Carson in a hard hit. Knocked the body clean off of it. That's community strike 1 there. That ain't your body. That's Weston's. Oh, no, it ain't. All right, looks like Lynn's going to be running Superman body now. He's just got to make it through this race, folks, and then he'll get him a new body. But his champagne wine colored body is it's gone, folks. Yep. Randy Kirtley's too. He's got glass tape all over his. Number 2 there on Blue Lane in Dead Man's Corner. I mean, you know, after a full season of racing, though, it only took 2 races to destroy these guys' bodies in this new Super Late Model series. This goes to show you how destructive this series is and whether or not these guys are going to give each other room. You know, when you step up in class, you got to also step up in class, if that makes sense, and be gentle with one another as you go through the corners. If not, you're both going to go home on the trailer. So that's our second strike gone, folks. We are starting to count strikes now, and here we go. Jonathan Davenport looking body coming out there, Superman ready to fly. And it is flying, because he's running a pretty quick run there on purple right behind Carson. Passing Randy Kirtley. It's Randy Kirtley, Jay Latham, and Amani, all 3 involved in an incident. That's 1 strike for each of them. I mean, when they cluster up like that, T, you know how it is. They cluster up. It's either they give each other room or they all go. And this time they decided not to give each other room as they're both trying to run for that number 1 spot early on in the game. Tension's high. Monty's car, it looks like we took out half the field there. Only 2 cars to survive, it looks like. Everybody else off. Looks like Randy with 2 strikes, everybody else with 1, other than Nathaniel. Almost seen it's a full-blown J there. Just 2 cars shy of a full-blown J. Monty's car there a little bent maybe. It comes off the track.
Yellow flag.
It looks like Carson, Monty's got a little bit of bend issues on his car. Carson there, his car just hits the back of Monty's. So he's coming off. That's second one for him. Lynn Burton taking a look at his.
Ready.
4 red lights dropping out to green. Here we go, folks.
Yellow flag.
All right, looks like Jay's first strike. Looks like Randy's going to be pulling it with 1 minute and 19 seconds left to go. Two for Jay. Okay. 2 for a lot of people. Probably won't be the last time we see that this evening. as it seems like the track's getting a little dry, slick as we move on into the later portions of this race. People soaking up that glue, not as tacky as before. Maybe an option, put a little light glue on the tires, help them grip a little bit, keep the back ends under control. But what I'm seeing is not a lot of people giving each other room when they see people come. A lot of hitting each other in the back ends when they slop back and forth. 1 minute left to go. We're halfway through. So we get a hit there. Hit the track button. T. Yeah. You're going to have to hit that track button. Because Amani, you know where the track button's at? Yeah, the red one. Yeah. So that's 2 for Amani there. And I think that's 2 for everybody other than Jay. Is that right? You got 2? So everybody's got 2. You got none? All right. Well, Nathaniel's sliding by on me on that. Nathaniel with 0. Everybody else with 2.
Yellow flag.
All right. So Carson and Amani coming off there. And they're going to be setting out for 42 seconds. Like I said, it gets really, really intense when the cars start coming off. Like I said, it's a battle of the fittest. Nathaniel looking to gain the most here. He's got 0 right now. And everybody else has got 2.
Yellow flag.
So now Nathaniel has 1. I have a tendency, folks, to do that. When I start talking about somebody in a good light, I tend to bring bad luck their way. So try not to talk about too many people. I'm not going to talk bad. I'm enjoying the race. It's pretty intense. Energy's flaring. It's like being at the real dirt track, folks. I'm loving it. Jackson down low on yellow is poised to take Jay Latham here in just the next lap or so. As he goes to push to grab Jay here coming up. He's running nice and smooth on his inside though. Ooh, as he makes a nice let pass for Glenn. That's what you want to see. If you want to stay on this racetrack, you got to let them go sometimes. And that equal exchange is what's netted Jackson that lap that he needed. Jay Latham getting lucky, getting slotted back in. What a show, folks. Jay Latham's car actually coming out of orange and going back in. Now the lead changed right there at the end as Jackson with his, I don't know, call of the wild, I guess, takes over the lead. His mating call? Okay. So Jackson's mating call as he takes over the lead from Jay there. Jay narrowly keeping the car in as he slid out of there. Jay, what did you do to your car to be able to keep that car in orange like that? Well, I seen you come out and slot right back in. That was pretty cool. Right now, Jay Latham and Jackson both averaging 60.2 on average. Randy Kirtley and Carson both taking a pretty good hit there, being completely taken out of the heat that last time. We'll see if they got their cars in working order as we continue on here, but that may or may not have cost them the race, depending on whether or not other people suffer the same kind of consequence when they receive those upper lanes. Upper lanes are shown to be tough here this weekend at Lanes Raceway. That little bit of extra grip coming there on the high side, causing the guys to grip just a little extra and stutter right before the crook of the track, causing their cars to come out. Could all be solved as simply just by letting off of the throttle a smidge. Carson, when that third strike hit you, man, how did it make you feel? Yeah. Well, you've been running pretty good. I know last week, pretty impressive showing there in the GRC race. Narrowly missing that victory. You got second place. What'd you lose about? Like a lap, maybe 2?
2 laps.
Man, it was super close. It was exciting to see. And, of course, that race coming up here soon on the orange track. Are you excited to see what you can do in the GRC hard body on the orange track?
Oh, yeah.
All right, a minute left. You better go get your car ready as everybody's rotating. Jay on white, Amani on green, Jackson on orange, your current leader. Nathaniel on blue, Carson on yellow, Randy on purple, Glenn on black. Jackson, how you feeling now, right now in the lead? You going to be able to hold it?
Potentially.
Potentially, he says. All right, folks, 40 seconds. All right, folks, 4 red lights are going to drop out to green, and we're rolling.
Yellow flag.
So first community already gone, 4 seconds into the heat. We get one more community strike, and then it's starting to count them. We got a raised track there on green, T, or are we good? Is it raised up? You didn't?
Ready.
Okay. Keep an eye here on Amani's car as he takes off this time, so everything's good.
Yellow flag.
All right, and that's our second community. Now we will start taking individual checks as we see Carson's car off down low there in the crook of the track. Okay, just a little bit more forward. I could sit here and watch this race. I might actually have enough. Ooh, I can. I can sit here and watch a race. That's what I like right there, being able to sit and watch a race. Ooh. That's it.
Ready.
All right, folks, now we are counting strikes. Let's see if these guys race each other clean. Jackson out in the lead at 2:47 as we see Carson take his first strike.
Get ready.
Carson currently in third position. Like I said earlier, running an exceptional hard body class for our first race last week. Almost taking home first place. See Amani's car taking a hit there.
Yellow flag.
And we see Jalen Latham involved in an incident and somebody on the lid there. It looks like the second one for Carson and one for Jay. Carson definitely going to have to lower the gear down a little bit to stay in this battle. It's a minute and 27 seconds left to go. It's all just keeping that car on at this point. Glenn Burden going to put Jay Latham in reverse, give him somewhat of a disadvantage. Jay said he'd take the whole field out. All right, we see Amani go to the high side
Yellow flag.
as he does hit it that time, taking his first strike.
Get ready.
Here we go. And a free game of pinball won by somebody. And there's Amani there on the second one.
Yellow flag.
That's the second one there for Amani and one for Randy.
Get ready.
1 minute left to go here in the heat. We're halfway through.
1 minute left. Halfway through the heat.
And that's 3 for Carson there. He made it 3/4 of the way through.
Get ready.
He's going to spend his time there, work a little bit on his car in the pit. Maybe Bruce might help him a little bit. We never know. As we get a high side hit there, hit the track. Tell you need to be on that track button, please, in case something like that happens. And that's 3 for Amani. He's coming off his heat with 42 seconds left to go. Yeah, it's 3 for Amani.
Get ready.
Yeah, you're out till next heat, Amani. 5 people left. Like I said, I told you folks, I didn't think it was going to be the last time we seen 2 or 3 of them coming off here. Super late model, definitely a bloodbath here as the track starts getting a little dry, slick as we continue on in the race here. It's all about conserving the tires, all about letting off that trigger a little bit and letting that car gain a little bit of traction while still keeping the back end under control. If the guys don't do that, they get a little squirrely and they end up kicking out of the back there. But I do believe a squirt of the medium glue before we run this race is a must when we run this series. So we'll do that every week before we start it, and maybe the guys will start getting used to it. We probably should have done something similar to that as Jay Latham goes to the high side there. And we got 1 second left to go. I don't know whether that's Jay's first or second, but none to matter. He's got 1 second left to go before we do a rotation.
Get ready.
And that's a red flag rotation, 5 of 8. Jackson in the lead right now with 298, 293 of Jay Latham, 260 of Nathaniel Burden to round up your top 3. And we're getting a little bit of a battle down low from the guys that had to set out. Randy Kirtley, Carson, Glenn, and Amani right there with each other. So Jay, being as you're one of the front runners here, is the track starting to get a little dry, slick towards the medium portion of this race, getting a little bit more loose in the back end, or is it still just as grippy as the beginning? Dog leg? Well, it's like I said, if you just let out of it and let the front nose dive down, I think that would cure a lot of it. But everybody wants to be fast. Everybody wants to go through their full throttle, don't they? Sometimes it costs you, 99 laps, but on that 100th. That is true. Let that back in. It's a good-looking car you got there, Bruce. We might have to blur that out for the live stream. All right, folks, 1 minute and 34 seconds. We'll be right back with you. Hold it wide open. Oh, okay. I thought you manned all the way through the whole track. I was like, man. Woo, baby. I figured that man's corner might have something to say about that, Nathaniel. Side now, him and Jay Latham, your front 2, as they're going to go start dropping off some laps. Jay Latham makes a nice clean pass on Jackson as Jackson lets him go by there. He's just trying to keep that car in the slot Still got 2 community strikes. Everybody running nice and clean. Jay Latham going to take one of those community strikes from the team and get his car reset. Yeah, bring her back to the front. That's 1 community strike of 2 before we start counting strikes. But so far, I kind of like the 3 and out thing. It's making things move a little bit smoother. It also throws somewhat of a monkey wrench into plans of a lot of the faster racers that are more aggressive. Kind of makes them have to calm down a smidge. But pretty good. Reminds you of actually being at a dirt race without getting dirt in your eye. Oh, as Randy Kirtley gives a gentle bump to Nathaniel and sends him to the high side. I know if you look up there in the high banks portion over by Jay and Jackson, you can see both of them neck and neck. 5 laps separates these 2, and that is the 2nd community strike gone, and that was Amani, Nathaniel, and Carson all involved in that, and led by Randy Kirtley's nice gentle rub to Nathaniel Burton. We get a yellow flag, and I hear a bunch of cars, but I don't know how many of them's involved. So it looks to be Amani and Carson involved in that incident. 1 minute and 24 seconds left to go in the heat, and they've got the first strikes of the heat. It ain't off. It just went in sleep mode. Oh, and a car comes completely apart, body and all, as it goes to hit the speaker bouncing into the employees only closet. One of those involved was Jay Latham. The other one, if I'm not mistaken, Nathaniel. Whew, and it was rough, boys. That's 1 strike for each of them gents. As they take a quick look at their cars, both of them involved in such a hard hit. Whew. Jackson barely survived. He's sweating. He's having some flashbacks. I don't know, but he might not sleep tonight. He might not sleep tonight, folks. The British are coming? Is that what she said? Jackson, get out. The British are coming. Okay. Bruce giving us a little bit of info. In 72 is when HBO came out or something, and you could have watched something with Linda Blair. Roller Boogie? Roller Boogie? Okay, Roller Boogie with Linda Blair. 4 red lights drop out to green. Here we go as we get one to the high side there. Carson, is that 2 or 3? 2? Yeah, straighten him up. All right, that's 2 for Carson. Amani getting a gentle push through, so he's through the dead zone. And here we go, 1 minute and 17 seconds. Not yet halfway through, but we're getting close, folks. Nice high side pass by Jay Latham as it exchanged back for Nathaniel and Jackson. Jackson allowing that to go by. How's it going, Will? Will Santa Claus in the building. So we get 2 involved in an incident. I believe that's 1 for Randy Kirtley and 2 for Amani. 56 seconds left to go. Oh, is that Glenn? I forget. That used to be your old body. So, folks, that was Glenn. That's but Glenn was like, "Yep, that is 1 for Randy." Randy Kirtley's old RTR body. I forgot early on Nathaniel's Glenn's body having some issues there, so he's using Randy's Davenport body.
Ready.
4 red lights drop out to a green. Here we go, folks. All right, and that's Carson's third one. He's going to be setting out for 35 seconds. Carson, take this time, look at your car, and see what's up with it. This is a second one in a row.
Jet ready.
Carson, put that on the block. Make sure it ain't bent. 4 red lights drop out to a green, and here we go. Randy Kirtley down low on black, making up some of those laps where he had to set out literally a minute and, like, I think 20 or 30 seconds. And I believe I just messed him up a little bit, is now Randy Kirtley's going to take one. Sometimes when you run as hard as Randy does down low, he likes to get down deep in the mud by the Ute tires. All that glass tape just holding the front bumper on. It looks like he needs a body too. Might be painting up a couple bodies when this race is over. All right, and that's going to be Amani's third one. Somebody else wreck over here? T. Somebody else wreck over here? Okay. I thought I heard it.
Jet ready.
17 seconds left to go in the heat. And that's a red flag rotation. Carson, while I got you here in the pits, you and Amani having some issues there coming out the past 2 heats, hitting those 3 strikes. What would you say is the biggest reason that you're coming out? Is it people, or is it just you doing it?
It's probably just me. Like, I may be doing the trigger too hard stuff.
Yeah.
So, and going edge, real aggressive.
So what are you going to try to do to maybe fix that? Do you think maybe that the chassis is bent also, or do you think that maybe if you just lower the sensitivity, maybe that'll help things? What do you think you could do to fix that? Maybe a stronger spring in the trigger so you're not easily hitting it?
That might be a good idea. Oh, yeah.
Well, one way to do that, Carson, I'll let you in on a little secret. You can pull those springs and cut one of the springs out. You just pull it and then cut one of them out, and then you just hold that spring over. That'll actually make that spring tighter. Now, that'll help you be a little bit slower on the trigger, but at the same aspect, that makes you slower on the trigger. So it might make you not as fast, but maybe till you get used to it, maybe try that out. Just cut one spring tension off, and it might be right where you're at, because you're really close to running smooth, we're noticing. It's just that sometimes you get a little aggressive there, but at the same time, I've seen you, a few people rub up against you a few times too and cause you to come out, but you know, that's racing. But what is coming into this next heat? You got a minute and 19 seconds. Coming into this next heat, what is your plans to stay on all heat, this coming heat?
Let's try being a little bit more non-aggressive, maybe like slowing down my fingers. Try to, at least.
I mean, that's a good idea. I think if you can stay in, as you can tell, there's plenty of people that come out. Randy Kirtley, of course, taking like a minute and 30, minute and 40-second penalty that one time he came out. He's the one that suffered the most loss this race. So you know, it's anybody's ball game up until the final heat, and here we go with 2 heats left to go. Y'all got 44 seconds left to go, but thank you for talking to me, Carson. I'll see you out there in the race field.
Race starts in 20 seconds.
20 seconds. Randy getting his car stickered up. Glenn Burden using one of Randy's house cars this weekend.
Race starts in 5 seconds.
Monster body next week. Glenn loves a monster body. 4 red lights drop out to a green. Here we go, folks. Randy Kirtley making a nice dive down low in front of Amani.
Yellow flag.
So first one to take a community is Jay Latham in second place, and he's going to go to the start-finish line. That leaves one more strike, and that's it. Huh? Yeah, it keeps people a little bit more level-headed. I remember when we was down in the basement, man, we was doing this, we didn't wreck. Yep.
Yellow flag.
So Monty and Carson getting involved in the incident. That's the second community there. So 1 minute and 40 seconds, and we are going to start counting strikes now. That was the second one. Yeah, the first one was Jay in the high bank. Got down to 3 degrees here last night. So Carson going to take his first strike. Being there up on the high side with Carson, it boils down to going to have to let off a little bit for the crook of the track, or it will send these little 4-inch chassis right to the wall in the high banks. These guys are not really used to that. They're used to being able to go wide open through the tri-oval portion of the track, or is what I like to call the crook of the track. But these cars do not like it, so something you just got to learn, you know. So that's one for Carson as we continue on here. Round robin 7 or 8. This race going a whole lot better than last week's race.
Ready.
And we got sound back on the TV, so that's pretty good.
Yellow flag.
So that's one for Jackson and one for Amani.
Jet ready.
Three-quarters of the race still left to go. 1 minute and 30 seconds. Randy Kirtley dive bombing down low there on Amani, and was able to make the pass nice and clean on the outside. Trying to make up every lap that he possibly can. Now in 4th place, trying to catch Nathaniel Burden up on the high side on white. As we see Carson take his second strike. Carson right there before the blip, or before the corner of this track here, the tri-oval, just need to let off and let that nose go through. Once you go through, then you can get back in it. So that's 2 strikes for Carson. He's got to make it a minute, or he'll be setting out for his 3rd heat.
Yellow flag. 1 minute left.
All right, that's his 3rd one. Bring that car over here, Carson. Look at it. Bring your block. Get your car, Carson. Bring me your block.
Jet ready.
1 minute and 3 seconds left to go. I think your Carson might be having a bent chassis here. Whoa, Zamani's car comes flying off, almost hitting me over here. It about got me. I think that's 2 for Amani. And 1 for Nathaniel. Yeah, that's just 2. And 1 for Jay. And that's 2 for Jackson. Yeah, so you're bent there on the right side. See how that front tire's touching? So you want to bend that front end. Hang on, let me mute this back. So puts it, so you just want to, well, that's how I'm going to bend it up. Don't use a lot of force. But once you bend it up, see now it's up off the ground. Now to keep it from getting pulled out. That flag's kind of tilted that way too. See that? That's also causing it. So that's tilted like that. That's causing you to come push back too. So I need your nose is bent down. See how your nose is bent down? So what we're going to do is get that way and we need to turn it while bending it up.
Yellow flag.
Turn it while bending it up. Should. Yeah. See? Now you're perfect. Okay. 2 for Jay. Well, the first one didn't count because that was a community. Yeah, that's 2. He wrecks again, he's coming out. Him, Jackson, or Amani comes out again, they're out. And you? Okay. So pretty much everybody except for Glenn and Randy, if they come out, they're setting out for 30 or so seconds. A nice gentle pass by Nathaniel on the inside of Amani, and Amani standing on the high side there. Randy Kirtley passing on the high side. Randy Kirtley's super aggressive as he knows he has advantage here. Not going to be getting sent out if he wrecks. And I'm telling you right now, these boys out here are racing. We got a red flag rotation. 3 on the wire, and not a one of them faltered. 397 for first place right now, Jay Latham. Second place, Action Jackson, 395. Those are your top 2. We're coming into the final heat here. Jackson, you gonna be able to make that push on Jay? You gonna? Well, I mean, all I ever hear in private is how you're gonna beat Jay down. And all I ever hear Jay say is, "I beat you." You're not going to get him, Jackson? You're just going to give up? Well, you don't know that. 3 strikes, you're out. So is the track getting a little dry, slick towards? It's getting dry. But so you think like before the race every week, if we spray it like I did, it's good until about right now, about halfway. So that's like a real dirt track in. All right, cool. And I know the formula. I do. So that's what we're going to do, folks. We're gonna do this every week. Spray the track, and that gives it enough glue to get it really good and tacky at the beginning, and then by the end of the race it starts getting a little dry, so the guys are saying. So that's like a real dirt race, like big car dirt race. That's exciting. Guys are doing really well here this week, as you can tell.
The race starts.
Oh, well, I need to update you guys as we have been disconnected from the session. Give me 1 second if I can find my mouse. There we go. Jack?
Race starts in 40 seconds.
What is it? Jackson, I'm gonna hurt you, dude. You cannot be giving me your trash, bro. Y'all better go over and get ready. 22 seconds left to go. Took a look there at Carson's car during the break, as he's been out the past 3 heats having issues wrecking and stuff like that. His car had just a little bit of an issue there being bent. His guide flag actually tweaked and corkscrewed over to the left side, and I think that had to do with a lot of him coming out of the track and wrecking. The 4 red lights are going to drop out to green, and we're going back racing. So did you start it in the wrong lane? All right. Just like Nathaniel said, orange even sometimes has an issue through the dog leg. Randy Kirtley going to take the guy's first community. We got one more community strike before we start counting them.
Get ready.
Randy Kirtley there in orange within striking distance of third place. And he's going to fight with everything he's got to get that third place. But there on the high outside, we got on white lane, Glenn Burden. And he gets touched a little bit, it seemed, there in the high side, taking the second community. So now strikes are going to start counting for each individual racer. Here we go. 4 red lights drop out to a green. Glenn Burden up there looking like the high side hustler as him and Randy Kirtley both get involved in an incident there. That's one strike for each of them. Bruce with a let's get this thing going signal. And Jackson giving Glenn a nudge from the inside there. Glenn tends to pay back respect, so we'll see. That's 2 for Glenn. Glenn's car impeccably quick, though. If he can just keep it on for the rest of this 1 minute, he will make some good laps as he passes Carson on the inside. It comes out in the crook of the track, slides all the way down. That's 1 for Carson there, and that's 1 for Jay. Through some bad luck for Glenn on the opposite side, though. Glenn's car, a scorching fast machine there, as we see a 1.89 on white. Just received some bad luck in the dirt track this week. But I think he'll be ready for next race for sure. And that's 2 for Randy Kirtley. You and Glenn got tied up here. Yep.
Get ready.
We'll swap back and forth there on the yellow lane by Nathaniel Burden. He's keeping her under control, though, as this track gets really dry, slick towards the end. We see Amani down low on black. Amani, is that 1 or 2? 1? So Amani hanging in there down low. Four red lights are going to drop out to a green. Nathaniel Burden and Jackson, just 1 lap separates these two as we see Nathaniel really rushing as hard as he can. Oh, as we see Randy Kirtley with his third and Jay Latham with his second. And who else you got there, T? Carson with his second. So 2 of the front runners gone in this heat.
Get ready.
27 seconds left in the heat. We see Amani coming out. Jackson, how many is that for you? 1. Amani, that makes you 2, right? So a lot of people with 2 here, coming up on 24 seconds left to go in this final heat. Like I said, folks, track's getting dry, slick. These guys are trying to keep them back ends under control, but their tires are just blistered. They're blown out. Jackson said he needs some sun lotion on his. Carson's car running a whole lot better now. This might be one heat that Carson is not actually going to come out on, as he's running a pretty good high side red. Ooh. Yeah, that'd be 3 for Amani. Somebody else was involved in it. That's 3 for Jay, too. 12 seconds left to go. Man, that's really sad for Jay. With 12 seconds left to go, 3 laps separates them. We're looking at 2-second intervals here. Unless something happens to Nathaniel or Jackson, it's in the bag. I don't even think Nathaniel has a strike yet. So it all boils down to the wire here. Nathaniel now taking over the lead. Jackson taking second place. And Jay's going to finish in third, folks. That's how it is. It only takes 1 heat for you to drop from first to third. And but everybody raced really well. It was just like a real dirt race watching it. You just didn't know who was going to take the checkers or go to the wreckers. 2 of the faster cars, of course, tonight, Glenn and Randy Kirtley, getting sent to the wreckers portion of the track. But they hard fought it back as good as they could. Nathaniel's going to end up representing for the Burden clan, taking home a first place tonight. Jackson's going to take a second. Jay Latham a third. Randy Kirtley still hanging on to that 4th position, though, even with all the trouble he went through. But that's all we got here, folks, for the Ohio Valley Dirt Super Late Model Series here at Lanes Raceway. And as you can see, everybody else is getting their stuff in order. This is Don here. We are going to be going on to the orange track next, and we get the cameras moved around just a little bit. And we'll be moving into the orange track for our GTP Class 12 coming up next. And then following that will be the wing car, and then we're going to end up in the hard body FCR or GRC. But thank you guys for tuning in and watching us here at the Super Late Model down here. Let us know if you like this version of it better than just running it wide open with no knockouts. I think it keeps it a little bit more spicy, keeps the guys running each other a little bit cleaner. But thank you for tuning in. God bless you, and I'll see you here just shortly when we move to the orange track.